Hey, what's going on, guys? Mr. A here. So we're trying to get ready for the milestones coming up. So we're starting back all the way at the beginning of the year, and we're going to start with understanding rational and irrational numbers. So these first 8 questions is on rational and irrational numbers. Question number 1 says Maggie has a square piece of origami paper that has an area close to 200. What is a good approximation for the length of one side of her paper? Okay, so it's a square piece of paper. So if I draw a square, just imagine that's a straight square. And we know that the area to a square is length times width, right? And we know that all the sides of a square are the same. So the length and the width are going to be the same. So I'm looking for a number that is the same, that when I multiply it by each other, I'm going to get 200. Okay, because it tells me the area is 200. So 200 equals a number times that number is going to give me 200. It says, what is a good approximation for the length of one side of the paper? So we're approximating because none of these numbers are exact. Okay? So here you just kind of play around. If you have a calculator, play around with it and see. Is 50 times 50 100? No. Is 8 times 8 close to 200? No, because 8 times 8 is 64, so that's not the closest. 14 times 14 is 196. That's pretty close. 20 times 20 is 400. So that's how we get C, because 14 times 14 is 196, and that's the closest. Okay? Number 2 says the decimal expansion 3.24 repeating can be represented by which rational number? Okay, a lot of you guys got this wrong, which is fine. Remember when we were doing this in class, when you're dealing with turning decimals, repeating decimals into fractions, you need to say, you can say the fraction equals 3.24 repeating, and then the amount of decimals that are repeating, or the amount of digits that are repeating, is the amount that you're going to multiply both equations, okay? There's 2 digits repeating, so I'm going to multiply both equations by 100 because you're using the power of 10. So it'll be 100 times f, which is 100f, and 100 times 3.24 would be, I'm going to move my decimal place to the right 2 times, 1, 2. Now remember, this is a repeating decimal, so it keeps going and going. Okay, so my new 3.24 times 3.24 repeating times 100 would be 324.24 repeating. Okay, when you get to this point, you're gonna subtract by f. Okay, on the left side, you're subtracting by f or x or whatever. On the right side, you're subtracting by the value of f, which is 3.24. So make sure you line up your decimal properly, 3.24. So 100f minus f is 99f, which equals 324.24. So that would be 0, 0. 4 minus 3 is 1. And then I have 321. So then I'm going to divide both sides by 99. I get f equals 321 over 99. I can simplify this further by 3. 321 goes into 3. 321 divided by 3 is 107. And 99 divided by 3 is 33, which is how we got 107 over 33, which is B. Okay? Question number 3 says, the square root of 2 is considered an irrational number. What makes this number irrational? Explain your reasoning. So square root of 2 is irrational because it does not terminate or repeat. Remember, square root of 2 is not a perfect square, but so it's not a perfect square, and it doesn't terminate or repeat. So that's what makes it irrational. Question number 4 says, which point best indicates the location of the square root of 56 on the number line below? So square root of 56. So when you're dealing with square roots like these that are not perfect, you want to do whatever is closest to it, okay? So you want to use what you know about perfect squares. Like I know that 8 squared is 64. So I know that a squared is 64. I know that 7 is a perfect square because 7 times 7 is 49. So 56 is between 49 and 64. So I know that the square root of 56 has to be between 7 and 8. And point C is the one that's between 7 and 8. Okay? Make sure you show and work just like I'm doing when you turn this in tomorrow. Number 5 says a square rug has an area of 80 feet square. Okay, so a square, imagine that's a square. Remember, all sides of a square is the same, so A equals 80. Which is the best approximation of the length of one side? So they tell us A is 80 equals area of a square is length times width, and we know that all the sides of the square is the same, so this and this is the same. So I'm looking for a number that I multiply by that exact number that's going to give me 80. So here we're really looking for, because it said approximation, we're looking for what is the closest. So I'll start with 6.4. 6.4 times 6.4 is 40.96. 7.5 times 7.5 is 56.25. 8.9 times 8.9 is 79.21. And 20 times 20 is 400. So this is the closest to 80. So that's how we got C for the answer. All right. Number 6 says simplify the following expression. Now, remember, when the bases are the same, all you're doing is adding the exponent. Okay, so my bases are the same. I'm adding the exponents. And also when it's in parentheses like this. So I have 3 plus 2 plus 0. 3 plus 2 plus 0 is 5. So I have 2 to the power of 5, which means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. Okay. Number 7 says, what is the value of the expression? All right, so I have negative 2 to the third power, 3 to the 0 power. We know that any number to the 0 power is 1. Do you guys remember that? Any number to the 0 power is 1. So if I rewrite this, it would be negative 2 to the third power times 1 times 4 to the negative 2. When we're dealing with negative exponents, we have to turn it into a fraction, okay? So I really have negative 2 to the third power times 1 over 4 to the power of 2. All right? All right, so negative 2 to the third power is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, if I'm correct. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So I have negative 8 times 1 over 4 to the square root of 2. 4 to the square root of 2 means 4 times 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. So I have negative 8 over 1 times 1 over 16. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. 1 times 16 is 16. When I simplify this further, I get negative 1 over 2, which is A. Last one. Which expression is equivalent to 10 to the power of 4 times 10 to the power of 2 divided by 10 to the power of 10? So if it's just 10 like this, it means 10 to the power of 1, okay? Now, if the bases are the same, you add the exponent for multiplication, okay? So I'm going to add my exponents. 4 plus 1 plus 2 is 7, right? So I have 10 to the power of 7 over 10 to the power of 10. That will give me, and then if the bases are the same in division, you subtract the exponents. So it'll be 10 to the power of 7 minus 10, which is 10 to the power of negative 3. When we have negative exponent, we turn it into a fraction, so that will give me 1 over 10 to the power of negative, oh, we can just leave it like this because the answer is already here, 10 to the power of negative 3. All right, that's it. I might have your other homework up. If I don't, I will just check it for completion tomorrow. All right.